Hello, everybody. Well, I'm Clayton Lino, as Leon told us. I'm the president of the National Council for the Atlantica Biosphere, and also member of the International Advisory Committee for Biosphere Reserves of UNESCO. But first of all, I'm a spelunker. I'm a speleologist since 1972 and former president of the Brazilian Society of Speleology. And then it's really a pleasure to me to talk about synergies between two things that for me are always in my mind and my heart, caves and biosphere reserves. I had a presentation about our proposal to invite everybody for the CaveMAB network, and I will share with you. Okay, just a moment. Are you seeing? Can't you see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes, okay, let me put the big one. It's okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, the idea is to thank for Mammoth Cave National Park Biosphere Reserve and Škocjanske Cave Biosphere Reserve, our friends Darja and Vanya de Bebek also to organize together this workshop. I put here 3 photos for each one of the biosphere reserves. That in this moment we are in the coordination of the network to showing that why is so important for us the caves. Here in the left, you can see the Casa de Pedra cave, Stonehouse cave in the Mount Atlantica Biosphere Reserve, with the beautiful Atlantic forest, and also the entrance of the biggest entrance of caving in the world, with 215 meters high, and part of one park with more than 600 caves. Is just one of the 2,500 parks in the Biosphere Reserve, because it's a huge Biosphere Reserve. And Mammoth Cave is the biggest cave in the world, more than 600 kilometers of beautiful galleries and a lot of history. And the Škocjanske cave in Slovenia is one of the most beautiful tourist caves also. It's an underground canyon, and I had the chance to visit both parks and biosphere reserve. Okay, let's there. Well, first, just to remember that caves and karsts are unique, beautiful, and fragile environments. They preserve much of the Earth's history and important traces of the evolution of our species, of the human species. And they must be protected. Karst and caves are also special landscapes and sites for science, biodiversity, water, geodiversity, tourism, religion, culture, sport, economy, etc. And they must be used in a sustainable way. We had many threats to caves and karst areas around the world, and we must to protect and to promote sustainable use. Well, this map is about the distribution of karstifiable rocks in the world. And we are talking about carbonate rocks, dolomites, limestone, and it represents about 15.2% of the global continental surface. And in these areas, globally, about 1 billion and 18 million people live on karst areas. We are talking about 16.5% of the global population. Then is very spread and important areas for everything, for our agriculture, for settlements, for water, etc. In addition to the carbonate rocks, caves occur also in many different lithologies: quartzite, sandstone, iron, gneiss, basalt, gypsum, salt, lava tubes, ice. Well, we have many different genesis, many different lithologies, dimensions, and each cave is unique. And this, if we consider all those areas, about 20% of the Earth's surface will have are places for caves. In brief, to think about a good future for caves and karst, we need to promote the knowledge, the protection, and sustainable use. For that, we need good science, education, and good practices. And we have good science, education, and good practices to share, and that's one of ideas of our network. And we need strategies as partnerships, communication, and networks. And well, we have a special partner because these concepts and strategies added to a participatory governance are exactly the basis of the UNESCO MAB program and its biosphere reserves. The biosphere reserves are model regions and learning spaces for sustainable development. They are territories designated by UNESCO with three basic functions: exactly conservation, sustainable development, and logistic support that includes education, training, research, monitoring, etc. And we have a world network of biosphere reserves with 701 biosphere reserves in 124 countries at the moment. That represents the 5% of the global surface, world surface, and also is a place for 260 million people. And then as the really very important and spread network of these special places in our planet. Well, and more than 200 biosphere reserves have caves or karst in their territories. You can see here different biosphere reserves with different kind of karst and caves. And of course, when we're thinking synergies, we have a global and natural synergy between the biosphere reserves of the UNESCO MAB program and also the International Union of Speleology, that is a big network with cave groups, cave association to protect, to study karst and caves around the world. We are trying to put together these big networks and promote the synergy. That's the proposal of the CaveMAB network. Well, CaveMAB is still now an informal thematic network creating support of the UNESCO Man and Biosphere, the MAB program. Was recently formed in 2018 and hopes to connect people from the more than 200 biosphere reserves with caves and karst resources across the globe. And membership is open to any individual or organization working with caves or karst landscapes in biosphere reserves. But we talk also about related programs, the World Heritage Sites, geoparks, Ramsar sites, and other special places in a global view. What the approaches and objectives of our CaveMAB network is the identification and assessment of cave and karst biosphere reserves through cooperative efforts with other cave and karst organizations and managers of the biosphere reserves. Promotion of the communication and information, experiences and research sharing within the network, promotion of cave and karst educational resources and professional development opportunities, enhancement of community involvement and sustainable development, cooperative scientific research and monitoring, and use the UNESCO Biosphere Reserve designation to gain means for action. Also to promote karst, cave and karst education, public outreach, and science-based policy support, building partnerships at all levels to leverage synergistic efforts and explore funding opportunities. This is part of the CaveMAB network declaration. It's a kind of protocol, and you can see this in our web page also. The CaveMAB network is calling us to take action in creating a sustainable future by protecting the biodiversity of unique and fragile caves and karst environments across the globe. Herein, we propose the following to enhance mutual understanding and direct steps for addressing our concerns. The development of an informal, multidisciplinary network connecting those UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, the connection of biosphere reserves to promote information sharing opportunities in cave and karst education and training, collaborative research of economic, social, and environmental benefits and challenges, and intercultural exchange. The creation of an online platform to support communication among CaveMAB members and other interested parties, as World Heritage Natural Sites, for instance. To establish a database of cave and karst resources within the MAB World Network, and to promote a network meeting every 3 years to present results, share experiences, and continue collaborative projects. Well, let's give some examples, and I present here, well, how to explore the synergies between this biosphere reserve and cave and karst protection. A Brazilian example. In Brazil, we have 7 biosphere reserves. You can see in the maps, on the map, but are huge biosphere reserves. Especially, we have a special politics for biosphere reserves that the country must have at minimum one big biosphere reserve for the big biomes in the country, as Amazon, Mata Atlântica, the Atlantic rainforests, Pantanal, Caatinga, Cerrado, etc. And then the total area of the biosphere reserves in Brazil are a little bit more than 2 million square kilometers. It's about 24% of the country. The other side, we have a lot of caves also. At the moment, we have about 20,000 caves in the Brazilian inventory of caves. And about 53% of these caves are inside our biosphere reserves. We have 10,700 caves inside the biosphere reserves. And each year we discover a lot of new caves in Brazil. For each biosphere reserve, we have a database with the information, not on the place, but information about each cave. This inventory, it's a national inventory organized by the Brazilian Society of Speleology, and the CaveMAB is the federal national center for research and protection of caves. These maps, to produce these maps, you have the support of the Observatório Speleológico. Speleological Observatory is a member of the Brazilian Society of Speleology also. And then in our case, the Mata Atlântica Biosphere Reserve, we have more than 6,000 caves. And of course, we need to, it's a very important issue for us. And well, what we do or support partners for caves and karst conservation. Proposals for new protected areas, including caves and karst areas, proposal for protective legislation, management plans for tourist caves, training of tourist guides and caves, campaigns against threats to cave areas, support for the Brazilian Speleological Congress. Each year we have a big speleological Congress in Brazil, cooperation with cement companies for the protection of caves and karst. For instance, we have a 10 years old cooperation between the Mata Atlântica Biosphere Reserve, the Brazilian Society of Speleology, and Votorantim Cimentos is the biggest cement company in Brazil. And through this cooperation, we protect a lot of caves and also general biodiversity in Brazil and also in other places. In Spain, for instance, Votorantim have some places with very important caves. And then we are protecting the caves also there with this cooperation. Well, we promote seminars, courses, lives, TV, videos, publications, and we have many publications all about caves and karst areas, and the cave inventory of Biosphere Reserve. Oh, sorry. Well, but at the moment we are in 9 Biosphere Reserve in the CaveMAB network, and in France, in Brazil, in South Africa, Slovenia, Czech Republic, in USA, Hungary, Slovakia, and also a transboundary biosphere reserve between Poland and Slovakia. And all these biosphere reserves, for all these biosphere reserves, karst and cave are very important issues. Well, we have a here in the map of the 9 biosphere reserves within the CaveMAB network at the moment, but we must to complete this map, and we invite everybody to join us. At the moment, we have coordination for the map network with the Lino, Darja, Kranjc, and me, and we have our web page, cavemab.com, with more information that you can access to see. Finally, we invite you to select one collective CaveMAB action in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the MAB program and the International Union of Speleology 2021 International Year of Caves and Karsts. Well, next year, 2021, will be a very important year for biodiversity, for climate, for international conservation, and is how it's the celebration for caves and karsts with this international year, and the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the MAB program. And then it's a very exciting opportunity for us to show our work, to communicate about the importance of caves and karsts. Well, that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Clayton, for that introduction of CaveMAB and our mission, our goals there, and what we're working for. And what a great segue there into hearing more about the International Year of Cave and Karst. I'm going to ask George Finney to address the workshop participants. He is the director of the National Cave and Karst Research Institute here in the U.S., and of course is the current president of the International Union of Speleology. So thank you for joining us this morning, George. I have not made you a co-host. I realize that as I'm speaking. And so there we go. So you should be able to share your screen at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. Here we go. Minimize that. Okay, on Tuesday, for those of you who were with us at the beginning of this conference, I spoke a bit about the International Year of Caves and Karsts as a global effort organized by the International Union of Speleology to educate the world about caves and karst. Clayton and Leanne asked me to speak a little bit more about it and how this can relate to the Man in Biosphere program, the CaveMAB. And as I see it, it is, of course, a natural partnership. If we look at the goals of CaveMAB, and this is taken from the website, the text here, it's just shortened and simplified for the purposes of this talk. But the goals are the same between CaveMAB and the International Year. And the goals are to connect people to caves and karst areas, recognize that there are caves in multiple types of geological environments that benefit humanity. Together, and together means both CaveMAB and the International Year, but I think of it as together as all of us working on this, because there's what, I think about 30 people on this workshop right now. 30 people can't reach the world, but together we can reach more of the world. We can develop additional partnerships to succeed. But together we will address social, multidisciplinary social, educational, cultural, and scientific challenges in protecting the world's unique cave and karst environments. So how are some of the specific shared actions? What are some of the specific shared actions that we can do? And the first one that always comes to mind are partnerships. Clayton just nicely illustrated that there are over 200 biosphere reserves that have caves and karst. I would bet that many of them, some of them do not realize that they have important cave and karst resources there. There are many that may not be on this list that have caves and karst. We encounter this all the time. Caves, by their nature of being underground, are hidden resources. Many people around the world do not understand what karst is. They've never even heard of the word. So developing partnerships, especially with people who manage, who protect, who are involved with cave and karst research and protection, is critical to growing this alliance, to growing our effectiveness in reaching the world and educating the world for the long-term future of caves and karst. Citizen science projects, bringing together citizens to come on out to your biosphere reserve and get involved. Of course, these are things that the biosphere reserves can do without the International Year, but having the International Year is incentive. It's something new, it's something extra to advertise, to promote, to say something special is going on this year. And likewise, using that something special to help expand the boundaries of some of the biosphere reserves or create new ones. And certainly the expansion and creation of new reserves will not happen in 1 year or even 2 or 3, but that's the impetus there that can make this happen, whether it takes 3 or 4 or 10 years, but it will make it happen. Connecting the sciences is so critically important. When we talk about biosphere, we think of biology, but the biology is dependent on the geology. The geology controls the hydrology. Without water, you cannot have life. You can't have the biology. There's also the cultural interactions, both ancient and modern, that are critically important to these areas. And so karst is so multidisciplinary. It's a great way to bring these things together and to demonstrate the benefits of these regions of protecting caves and karst. For many people, caves are just holes in the ground. They don't see the value. Karst is a funny word. They don't see the value. This is a chance to educate the people about the benefits and the values. The International Year will also include the first year of the international cave animal, which is the cave beetle. So locate, identify a cave beetle in your country, in your biosphere reserve, and demonstrate why something so small can be so important to your region. And of course, media outreach. Again, we can't do this by ourselves. We need help, and the media is one incredible way to reach the world, to reach the public. And it's also important because of the pandemic. I ask everyone to think and to plan for the pandemic. We hope that we can all physically get together next year, but if we can't, plan for social media, website, virtual conferences, virtual workshops, virtual field trips, the way we've had now, to prepare for next year, so we can still have a great international year. So in closing, first of all, take a screenshot of this page, to save the addresses. I invite you and ask you to please join the International Year of Caves and Karst and CaveMAB. Again, these are hidden resources, and to really understand and protect them properly, we need to explore them. We need to study them. The website is down here on this page. Go to the website, especially go to the download page to download information, promotional information, planning guides, other information. But the website is developed also as an educational tool to teach people about caves and karst. If you have any questions, my address is there. Contact me anytime. Thank you very much.